Hello, everyone out there in XRP land and crypto world. Another edition of the XRP Army News. And today I am very excited to be talking with Jeremy, XRP student. And Jeremy, would you like to say hello to everyone? Introduce yourself.
Hey, everybody. Northwest Indiana, XRP fanatic.
Well, Jeremy, what we usually do is just kind of talk about how the people that I'm speaking with, how they kind of found crypto, what they were doing in their life before, how they kind of came into seeing what it was all about, then kind of how they see where things are, and then what they see maybe coming for all of us. So I'm just going to kind of be quiet and let you kind of share with everyone who and what your XRP story is all about. So share away.
All right. So basically, about three and a half years ago now, I guess it's been. I wasn't doing much. I have a small business. I guess a little backstory. I do hardwood floor refinishing, installation. We do a little remodeling, whatever. But I don't have per se 401k stuff like that. So I started looking into what am I going to do? Something I can build on. And of course, everybody knows what Bitcoin is. They've heard of it. I didn't know too much about it, but I knew enough. And so then I started researching. I said, well, I probably missed that boat. Then I just kept digging, and XRP kept popping up. I said, man, let me really dig into this. And I don't know how anybody could say this isn't where we're going. I mean, it's for someone like me, I have no tech experience, no anything. And it just became so obvious almost immediately. And I've just been on the road to trying to learn as much as I can and waiting, accumulating as much as possible. And it's been a wild road, a lot of ups and downs, but my faith has not wavered one bit.
So Jeremy, were you in before the all-time high? I believe it was in 2017, or did you get in after?
I caught in after on the way down. I think it was around $1 when I first started researching it, and kind of bought all the way down. And I've been in it since then, though.
Yeah, well, I kind of started out with a little Bitcoin, and then when I stumbled onto XRP and really started to educate myself, I came to the same conclusion you did, that I mean, a real company behind it, and really smart people behind it, and really significant connections that they made in the world, in the banks and the governments and that kind of thing. So to me, it's XRP is the obvious choice too. But I had the same experience you did. It seemed like every time I bought, we'd get a 10% drop. I mean, it was 32 cents and I bought, and boom, down to 17, boom, down to 14. I think we even got back down to 11, somewhere like that recently. But I finally got some, I think, at 14. And so even with this last little dip that we had the last couple of days, I'm still feeling like that I've made some money. So, but again, I'm in it for the long haul. Sounds like you are too. So you're in Indiana. Are you a big Indiana fan?
Not really.
No.
More of in baseball, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. Chicago Bears football, Blackhawks, kind of all over the place.
Gotcha. So are you married?
Oh yeah, married, 4 kids.
4 kids. And how did you? Congratulations and happy Mother's Day to your wife.
Thank you.
So how did you get into the hardwood flooring business? I sold roofing myself for about 5 years, so I'm kind of we also had to bring in, depending on what kind of damage was going on in the house, we had to bring in the flooring guys too.
Right,
So how did you find yourself into that business?
Well, when my wife got pregnant with our first child, I decided I needed a real job. I worked just regular little jobs here and there, but what you do as a teenager, right?
Yep.
Started looking, and this company had just started. Somebody knew somebody that knew somebody, and said, hey, want to jump on this? We're just starting a business. And I mean, even today, I have my own business now, but we do a lot of work with that company still, and it's been good. It's going on 18 years now that I've been in it. So
Wow. So, have you been finding with the economy that it's been shut down pretty much? Has that slowed your business down at all?
not too much. It did at first because everybody got spooked that first week or so. But a lot of my work is people don't live in the house. You know, it's either like they're buying the house and they want to get the floors done, or whatever they want done in the house. So it hasn't been too bad for us.
So, I've got a friend of mine that is in the remodeling business, and he's told me, his name is Jeremy, and he's seen no slowdown at all.
Right.
So I think that's really good. I still, if I get a call, a referral, I'll still go out and talk to people. But right now, I live in North Carolina, and right now, we usually go through the insurance process to get that stuff done.
Yeah.
And right now, there are just very few people that are even willing to put out $1,000, to pay their deductible. I mean, if the roof's not leaking and it's not really bad, they're not really,
Right.
there's not market right now for that, has kind of really kind of dried up for now. So I don't know what's going to happen. Do you spend a little bit of time every day watching some of the influencers' videos?
I don't know if I do every day, but I definitely read articles every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. I mean, I'm studying on my lunch breaks and different things. I grab my phone, what's going on, and I've even gotten almost everyone around me doing the same thing now, and they'll come to me with stuff now, like, hey, I found this. Hey, I found that. I'm like, awesome, And
Well, have you found more people are willing to listen to you over a little bit of time? Because I'm still finding a lot of resistance with friends and family. They just and it seems I've kind of felt like when the economy started going really bad, and I don't know if you follow one guy that I watch pretty regularly. He's not an XRP guy. As a matter of fact, he'll never mention it. But it's a guy named Bix Weir. Have you seen any of his?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, he nailed the repo market on September 17th, because I remember on the 14th, he said, look out what's getting ready to happen. And he called it exactly on the 17th. And it started going down from there. And, the repo market, I could tell there's a big problem here. And then I could understand that the problem that we had in 2008, they didn't fix it. They just papered over it. So we had 12 more years of this crap, to where we ended up with on the high side, $1.2 quadrillion worth of this derivative crap. And the bubble has got to pop at some point. And it just seems to me like that, Jeremy, that it just seems like that you've got two things that are they're colliding with the economy, the way that we've had it set up with this fiat stuff. And then what I believe, and I think you do too, the new system that we're going to have. And I believe that the governments and whoever is pulling the strings behind the scenes want to put us in a cashless society. And I just see these things diverging, and it's got to pop at some point. And one other thing, and I'll ask you another question. The thing that's been interesting to me too is the amount of good news. I'm surprised that we have not seen more of a price jump. Because again, I look back over the last 90 days, and it's just boom, SBI, going well in Japan, boom, India, South Korea, loosening up regulations, allowing regulations for crypto.
Right.
Boom. All of this documentation that we can find out, hey, Christine Lagarde likes Ripple. Boom. All the news is good, and our price just sits there.
That tells you something. It's definitely people behind the scenes pulling the strings right now. Well, there's no other way.
Yeah, and DAI is in his videos practically every day. He says, "Don't worry about the price right now; it's immaterial." Meaning, I think what they may do, I think that the IMF may end up with the XRP escrow and then dole it out to all of the countries that are members in the IMF. and then set that XRP price at a certain level, and then boom, all the debt's gone.
I see that as a very viable solution. It could happen. Absolutely. It makes sense.
Yeah, oh, I think it does too. Now, let me ask you this. What Steve Mnuchin, I call him Munchkin, he's on Fox News replay right now. I can't even believe that the guy, he knows he's lying.
It's obvious. It's the look on his face.
I know. Yeah, that's what I feel like too. But I always compliment him on what I believe is his greatest accomplishment, and that was the level of which that he married up. I guess if you've got $4 billion, that your ability to level up increases.
Absolutely.
I just, when I look at him though, I mean, the body language, he's completely stiff, but I just can't believe he believes what he's saying. Anyway, so let me ask you this: what are your feelings about the Bitcoin halving? Do you think that that's going to do anything for Bitcoin and help drag XRP up with it?
Not immediately. I think, history from what I've seen, it always happens later. There's always the hype. Everybody gets, well, it's going to do it this time. You'll get a little bump. It's already pulled back, obviously, but there may be another little bump up, but I don't think it's going to be what people think it is. Now if you look at the chart 3 years from now, I'm sure you'll see a rise. I mean, that's just what it's done. But I don't think it's not going to send us to the moon, put it that way.
Well, last year when the Swell conference was coming up, I couldn't wait. I was so excited. I had a decent amount, and I was ready for that pump, and nothing happened. And it's like, look, I've read all these articles. Every single year we've had a swell pump, and last year didn't do. When I was positioned to take advantage of it, nothing happened. And I'm in a position now. I own very little Bitcoin, but I do have a little bit. So I guess I would be able to enjoy that. But usually it brings some of the altcoins up with it. So that would be nice. And again, my response to the halving is about a week ago, I decided I was only going to start shaving half of my face. And I mentioned to you before we started the broadcast that I kind of looked at it as a social experiment as well, to kind of test the waters of the sanity and observation skills of the people that I run into during the day. And it was really frightening because I only had one person in a week who actually commented and said, "What's up with your face?"
Good stuff.
So where, when Brad Garlinghouse told us, Jeremy, that we were in a marathon, and he said we were in mile 2 or 3 or 4. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where would you say now? Do you feel like the pandemic has sped up the timeline for us, and where do you feel like that we are now?
I think it's all done. I just think they're waiting on whoever's in charge to say, let's do it. I mean, they've put the fear in enough people now that a big thing with this pandemic is people don't want to touch things, right? Well, you got to touch money, and you've heard it all over the news and all over, all the articles you read. And I think that might be their play to get it out, whether or not it happens, in a blink of an eye, I don't know, but I think it's already said. I think they all know when it's going to happen. I mean, you see these people just kind of disappearing from Ripple now and going to do different things. Like, these were the guys that got it going. If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be where it is now. Why are they leaving? Well, because they know, but how are you going to prove it? You just got to wait. That's my thought.
Do you feel like that Miguel Villas will show up somewhere? DAI said, and I think Brad too, that they think that they would not be surprised if he showed up running Polysign. So
I've heard that. It wouldn't shock me one bit. Which is another big deal. That's another big deal.
I was really surprised that he did not make any kind of an announcement at all. But then again, I don't think many of the other people ever did either if they left. So, but it does kind of leave.
He didn't say much, I mean, he's popping up now, but he wasn't.
Does kind of
no grand leaving,
Yeah. Hey, I saw on Twitter today someone was asking, saying that they would like to see a Joe Rogan, David Schwartz interview.
Yeah.
Did you see that? I would love to see that.
Yeah, right.
He's a smart man. Both of them. Did you watch any of the MMA stuff last night? Are you an MMA guy?
Not huge. Well, I got barged in by my kids.
That's okay.
Oh, here. That's a little one.
Hey.
Say hi.
Hello.
You never get more than a couple minutes by yourself with these guys.
I bet.
All right, go see Mom. All right, there you go.
All right.
That's half the family.
Well, congratulations. It's beautiful, beautiful children.
Yeah, I don't watch too much MMA. I mean, a little bit, but it's not. I'm always so busy. I got 4 kids. I got a business. I mean, I watch a little TV every night, but honestly, I do a lot of. I'm in my phone researching. It's just, I know it's coming, but I just want to be so prepared for it when it happens.
Well, I think we're going mobile and digital, and I own a digital marketing company, and I did that because I feel like that we're going mobile and digital. And I mean, these phones now have become like an extension of our anatomy. And I think we're going to be paying for everything with the phone, maybe a QR reader, or however the machinery that accepts payment is going to take it. I don't know if it's going to be a QR reader or what, but I think we're going to be doing everything by the phone.
I did too. They already do it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, not mass adoption yet, but I definitely think it's going in that direction. So what, have you had a 10 hat moment since you've been investigating and looking into XRP on any of the videos that you looked at that was just like, oh, wow?
Not really. I mean, there's so much that it could be that.
Yeah.
I'm just an open-minded person, right? I believe what I believe. I'm not going to say what somebody else is going to say is wrong, no, because I haven't seen it.
Right.
I take that approach to everything. So, but I'm 100% in on this. No doubt about it.
Well, I in my 20s, I learned, I ran across this quote, and I've tried to make it a part of the way that I live my life every day now. And that is, there is a principle, bar none, which is proof against all arguments, that is bound to keep a man in everlasting ignorance. And that principle is contempt prior to investigation.
Yeah.
So I really like to try to make sure that I have an open mind and evaluate something before I decide if I think it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Absolutely.
So do you think that, so you said you think that we're all set pretty much. The only part that I feel like is still kind of hanging out there on a little bit are the regulations. But having Maxine Waters go from Bitcom to now we've got 32 different bills in Congress that they may take a look at and decide to pass, then we've made a lot of progress in that particular regulations. And I've kind of felt like that was the last thing we were waiting on.
Absolutely.
Regulation.
I've said that for the last 6 months. Once U.S. regulations clear, it's game on. I mean, that's when it's going to go. I mean, people ask me, hey, when's it going to go up? When's it going to go up? I don't know. Ask Congress. I mean, it's literally what it's up to at this point.
Well, how do you feel about China having 61% of the Bitcoin mining?
I feel that's why the U.S. is not ever going to adopt Bitcoin. They're going to do what they can to slow it down anyways, right?
Yeah, I don't think there's any way in the world that Trump is going to allow Bitcoin to go to very, 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 very high positions in the world when 61% of it is mined in China.
No.
I mean, I think that's the big, they've got problems with the fact that it's slow and that it takes up a lot of electricity. But I think that 61% mined in China is a bigger problem for their growth than the power or the slowness of the system.
Oh, absolutely. Because they can shut it down in a second. Then what?
Manipulate it, shut it down, do whatever they want to.
Right.
And we don't want to
do currencies now, but it doesn't affect us as much as if we had a global currency and they had control over it. It just can't happen. It will never happen.
Well, Jeremy, have you had any? Do you import any of your supplies for your business from China?
No.
Okay. Have y'all had any food shortages at all? Again, I told you I live in North Carolina, and I went to Food Line yesterday and was shocked because it was only the second time that I've seen a really empty area in Food Line. And it started, of course, with the toilet paper and the paper towels. But I went yesterday to go in and get some fixings for my girlfriend to fix us a nice steak dinner last night. And I mean, there was no beef. I mean, anything. No hamburger, no steak, no nothing.
We haven't had any of that here. I mean, we had, the toilet paper, that shortage in the beginning, like everybody did. But as far as the food, now the prices have started to gone up. So I don't know. Maybe the supply chain here is pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah. Hold on. I haven't seen the door. Hold on. Dog's barking. Okay. So you really haven't seen, you've just seen prices go up, but not empty shelves yet.
Right. We're a small town where we're at, so I think that is a big deal too. We're not competing with millions of people over here. I mean, it's, I don't know. This town probably has 20,000 people, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that's awfully big compared to where I grew up. I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina in a little town called Banner Elk, 714 population.
The town I grew up in had 500 people, so.
One red light. Everybody knew everybody. I love that small town growing up. And when XRP moves, that's exactly where I'm going back to, is back to the mountains of North Carolina.
That's a beautiful place.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And I am moving back home. I live in the middle of the state now, kind of looking after my dad and stepmom. But I am definitely, that's my moon fantasy plan is moving back up to the mountains when I get the chance to. So that's where I want to live the last chapter of my life, is up in the mountains of North Carolina.
Yeah, I'd like to buy a mountain in Tennessee, so we're not too far off.
Yeah. Well, actually, Banner Elk is right up in the very corner of North Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. So we're only 13 miles from Virginia and 13 miles from Tennessee, in that little corner of the state in North Carolina.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
How's your weather been up there today?
Rainy, cold.
Yeah, it's amazing. We had snow, I think, in New York or Pittsburgh or Washington in May. That's kind of a strange happenstance.
Yeah, we were on the job yesterday, and it was snow flurry, and I'm like, what is this?
So it snowed in Indiana yesterday?
Just flurries, but yeah, it did.
Wow. So do you think that we're opening up the economy at the right time right now? Or do you think that we need to wait a little bit longer?
I think it's the majority of the country seems to be in a good spot. I mean, there's still the spots that are not, obviously they should act accordingly. I mean, don't just say blanket opening, but if there's places that need to get back to work, everyone needs to get back to work. I mean, that's if we stay out of work for a long time, we're in trouble. So I think we should probably be moving some places even quicker. But other places like New York City and some of these big hotspot areas, no, I don't think they should open. But they need to get this under control.
Well, do you think when we get done with it and look back at this 5 years from now, do you think that they would have ended up overreacting to the seriousness of it? And I want to make sure that I state this very clearly. I do believe that it is a real problem. I
Oh
do
yeah,
believe that there are people that are getting it and they are dying from it. But
absolutely.
from the research that I've done, it seems like that it's the deadliest to older people and people that already have some type of compromised immune system. So, in other words, there's not a lot of 20-year-olds dying from this stuff.
No,
So, I believe that it is more contagious, but I'm not sold on that it is so lethal that it should have stopped the entire world's economy.
no, I don't think so either. I think it was the fear of the unknown that everybody overreacted, and like you said, 5 years from now they're going to look back on this, and if it happens again, it'll be approached a different way. I'm pretty confident.
Well, I hope so, because I tell you, we it's put a lot of hurt on a lot of people. Have did restaurants in your area all shut down?
They do, yeah, takeout only. Some of them
Takeout
aren't
only?
shut at all, but most of them do takeout.
Have they begun to open back up now? Is Indiana one of the states that's beginning to open up?
Not the county I'm in, but some of the counties are. The county I'm in and one other county, I think Monday is when we start. Tomorrow, they start opening up in phases. 25%, whatever it is. The different places have different numbers, but
Well, I'm really worried about the restaurant people because they work on small margins anyway.
absolutely,
And just think if they have got to space the people apart, plus people are afraid to go in, and they're only if they get 50%, and then what about the wait staff if they're getting $3 or $4 an hour plus tips, and
right.
they're only allowed to have 50% of the foot traffic, and the restaurant's only making a 5 or 10% margin to begin with. I just don't see how the math works. I think we're going to have a lot of restaurants that are never going to be able to recover from this thing.
I do too. I mean, I'm trying to do my small part in tipping higher. I'm actually ordering out more than I normally would. Just trying to keep these local businesses going, but it takes a lot of people to do that. So,
Well, one of the other bills that's introduced into Congress now is something called the universal basic income. Have you heard what they want to do with that?
yeah, a little bit. What I've heard of, I'm not a huge fan of because I don't think we can financially sustain it. The idea behind it's good, but financially not sustainable.
Right. Well, the version of it that I researched and looked into was $2,000 a month for every citizen in the United States,
Right.
as long as the unemployment numbers are below a certain number. And then as soon as we get the unemployment back up to a certain number, then they're going to give us $1,000 a month for 12 more months.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds good. It's very enticing, but how do you pay for it? They're going to keep printing more money that they don't have, right?
Yeah, and then but then if they just go into a debt jubilee, it doesn't matter how much they print, the Fed can just keep putting all that funny money out there and then just cut it off and say, hey, we're just going to forgive our debt to the whole world. Everybody's on a level playing field now.
I mean, that's probably part of the master plan, right?
Well, one of the things that has frightened me the most too is have you looked at that USA debt clock?
Yeah, I have.
Well, I started looking at that maybe 6 or 7 months ago.
Okay.
It was $22 trillion. Now it's 24 on the yearly budget side of it. But the part that really made me begin to really worry was the lower right-hand corner, the unfunded liabilities. And Jeremy, 2 months ago, it was $127 trillion of unfunded liabilities. That's your Social Security, my Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all of this stuff that the government has promised to give all of its citizens. And it was $127 trillion 2 months ago. And you know what it is today?
I don't.
$147 trillion. Now, I mean, do you have any idea? I mean, that number and the high side on the derivative market of 1.2 quadrillion are just things that I can't even begin to comprehend my mind to wrap my head around. I mean, these numbers have gotten so big in this fiat system where they can just leverage everything, and then they do something else called rehypothecate, which means they work with another bank and then they loan out off of the same asset. I mean, it's insane. Oh,
It's got to
the
come
thing,
to a head eventually.
the thing, yeah, and that's what I mean. The collision of, we're just not going to be able to sustain this stuff. And one of the things I feel the worst about is a lot of the people that have got pensions are. I don't see how the pension funds are all going to be able to fulfill their obligations either, because they can't invest in anything right now that will bring them a 7% yield. So what are they going to do? The pension funds are broke, a lot of them.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pain in the near future. There's no doubt about it.
And none of the banksters go to jail.
Absolutely crazy.
I listened to this thing the other day, and then if you have any final thoughts with anybody or anything else you'd like to share, then we'll go for it. But I was listening to this thing the other day. I think it was Mike Maloney. I think he said that if you divide, I think they gave us $3 trillion in that last amount of money that the government gave out. And if you divide that by the citizens in the United States, it's $16,500 per citizen. And then they gave some of the people $1,200. And I don't know about you, but I have not seen my $1,200 deposited in my account or a check yet. So where is the other of the $16,500 if they're only going to give each person $1,200 and they haven't given that to everybody yet? Where's the rest of it?
All the big banks and corporations got it. There's a bailout. There's a bailout perpetrated on the people, no doubt about it.
Yep. So the banks ended up getting more money too.
Oh, they've made so much money off this. Billions and billions of it. I've seen a couple articles about it. It's crazy. It's maddening.
So where are the places that you mainly look to find your XRP information, Jeremy?
All over. And I do a lot of Google searches. I'm a big Twitter fan. I read a lot on Twitter. I don't hold it as gold, but I pick a lot of things out of it and dig into things and just searching the internet. I mean, now a lot of people are bringing me things because I've gotten other people involved, which helps, but just diving into the internet.
Well, I look at videos a lot. Again, since I've owned my own company now, I've got the time and I carry my phone with me everywhere. So I probably have averaged watching 2 or 3 hours worth of videos every day. And I put together our website, XRP Army News, as a way to be able to find the information that I was looking for easier. So we put the 10 or 12 of my favorite YouTubers on a website where if you click on their logo on our site, it will take you to their latest video. And then we've also got a tab that people can click on to find the latest tweets by the people that I follow the most. And I did that mainly as a self-serving thing so I could find the information quicker. And then I figured, well, I might as well see if I can share it if other people like being able to find that information easier then maybe that would be some part of what I could do to give back to the community. So if you haven't visited our website, I hope you will and take a look at it. And maybe if it helps you find what you're looking for easier, then I've helped in some small way.
No, I did take a look at it a little bit when we first started talking about doing this. I dug into it a little bit. I haven't dug into everything. You have a lot on there, but I pick and choose. You know, I get a little bit here, I get a little bit there, but then again, I got a business and family, and my time is limited for the amount of time that I can usually do things. So
I got you. I understand. All right. So last thing, what would be your prediction, would you say, if you feel comfortable saying it, that we may be able to look for, or what you're hoping and looking for by the end of 2020? Because Brad Garlinghouse did say over and over that it is the year of the digital asset. So we're somewhere around 20 cents. I don't know if we dipped again below 20, but what are your hopes and dreams for what our price could be at, Jeremy, by the end of 2020?
it's a real tough one. I mean, it could easily be $5 to $10, but what I have believed since the beginning is it's a $100 to $300 coin. That's what all my research in the beginning told me. When is it going to be there? I don't know, but that's you know, I like to undervalue things, but it's a $100 to $300 coin whenever it takes full adoption. When that happens, you know, that's where it's going to go. It has to be there to work. You know, it has to minimally be $100. But you know how things fluctuate. I think it's a $100 to $300 coin. That's what I look at it as. It could go higher, but I'm not one of those guys. So,
right. Well, if it ends up being involved with all of the money, then it is definitely going to have a value, because when we begin to tokenize everything, and I mean the potential is just, it's absolutely staggering if we can wrap our heads around it, and if XRP can just be in the mix. You know, there's plenty of room for our Visa and MasterCard and Discover Card and American Express. When you're dealing with all of the money, then there's enough to be spread around that XRP, as long as they're in the mix, I think all of the early adapters, which is all of us in the XRP community now, I think we're all going to be very, very, very pleased with the decision that we made.
I believe that's an understatement.
Yeah. Well, over promise and under deliver is not as good as under promising and over delivering. So, but I think it's going to end up being one of the best decisions that we ever made, Jeremy. And
I do too.
Yeah. So I would like to thank you very much. We'll wrap it up. And again, I would like to let you know how much I deeply appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me, because we have our influencers and we love the news that they give us every day. But I just feel like that there's a space out there for, you know, just the regular people in the Army, that we've got, you know, an opportunity to be able to share how we feel about what's all going on too. So I deeply appreciate you taking the time out of the day to speak with me about this. And I hope you'll do it again with me later on. Once we hit $100, we'll get back together again.
Man, that'd be great.
All right.
Thank you too, sir.
Okay. Take care, everyone, and have a great day.